What were you learning about sales at that time? You're young, you're trying to make your way in the world, and you're looking at these sales opportunities. What were you learning?
Well, you can't have any fear. The idea that, first of all, you're going to get so many no's. You have to just get past that piece of it and get so many no's to get one yes. When you get that yes, it's incredibly rewarding, but you learn why you got so many no's before that. I mean, I was at a point where I was opening up a Yellow Pages back when the Yellow Pages existed and just calling. We specialized in law firm staffing and went law firm by law firm and tried to figure out what was going to get me in. And, ultimately I owe a lot of how I've created my own sales tactics and professionalism today to that first job.
Wow, that's boots on the ground. And I'm curious, when you started working for NASDAQ, what was that transition like for you to go from, the staffing agency now to, a major business?
I look back at that and I am so thankful I got this job in the exchange world through NASDAQ. So, I was 23, going on 24, could not run a car on my own at that time. I had to have my boss sign off on things. I worked from home for the first time before working from home was something anybody did. I had to learn how to do that. And I also had to learn an entire industry that seemed daunting, right? Being a 20-something-year-old in the middle of Texas, learning about an exchange and how they work with companies, whether it be services or listings. You're on an island already, but then having to really jump into a really complex business and then marry that with the financial crisis that happened about 3 months after I started in 2008, it really, again, crash course, right? You really figure out who you are.
What was that experience like? So now you're in the middle of the great financial crisis while you're
Well,
at
I'm
NASDAQ.
kind of wondering why everybody's so upset around me. I'm like, why? How can I help?
You're just grinning from ear to
Yeah,
ear because you're excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm just excited not to be in the Yellow Pages. And yet I have, obviously, the markets are crashing. And, my colleagues that were on the listing side, because I was a junior associate at that time, really on the, very bottom of the ladder, just trying to learn how to use probably my computer. And, everybody else is, hair on fire. And I learned, again, a lot about almost crisis management at that point, how to be a, steady ship in a very tumultuous ocean, right? That was a big thing I learned early on was, how to manage conversations, how to help companies and folks that were truly going through the worst part of their business life. And again, not because I was doing it directly, but watching it indirectly.